Houston at Memphis. Memphis 2.5-point favorite. Over under 57.5. I dug into this game, unfortunately. My life is sad. For about an hour last night at 3 a.m. And I was thinking I was going to bet Memphis. I'm betting Houston here. I'm sad about it. Trust me. Hopefully it doesn't go to overtime and Dana doesn't take the ball first. When you look at these two teams, Houston there's just something that's been off, and they did lose their sack leader, one of their best defensive linemen for the season. But, and they lost to a third string quarterback drove the field on them last week, but they easily could have won that game. They went to overtime with UTSA, overtime with a really good Texas Tech team. I think they've been running a bit poorly, and I think that the main culprit has been the play calling. And if you look at the amount of runs they're calling, how about this against Tulane last week? 12 of the 19 last at 19 early downs. 12 of the final 19 first downs at the second half and overtime, they ran the ball. They were running the ball at an inordinate rate. This is not, you have a quarterback, a fifth-year quarterback, one of the best receivers in the country. After listening to everything, and apparently like Dawson's calling the plays and he's being too conservative. I think Holgorsen is either going to whip him into being more aggressive here, or you're going to see Holgorsen take over play calling here. And that is a good thing against Memphis, because Memphis pass defense is horrendous. And I'm digging in. There's also injury news, which kind of swung me. So Memphis has a couple offensive linemen, key offensive linemen, that are 50-50 at best to play. They didn't play last week against Temple, and it was a disaster. They were up 3-0 in the fourth quarter to Temple. Sacked a bunch. They got no protection. And if they don't play, I just don't see this Memphis offense having much success. And you say, okay, well, Tulane last week, they were moving the ball, backup quarterbacks. Yes, but Houston's two best defensive backs, and this is from a team that lost two defensive backs to the NFL. One's on the Patriots, one's on the Ravens. They were both out last week. They are both confirmed in this week, and I think that's a major difference. And I think this is just a good time to buy low on Houston and sell high on a 4-1 Memphis team that, like I said, down 3-0 to Temple at the half. Their run defense has been pretty good. They beat Navy. Okay. They got trucked by Miss State, put up a bunch of garbage points. They beat Arkansas State 44-32 in that game. Arkansas State moved the ball fine. The one really troublesome result for me is they beat North Texas 44-34. Memphis had 2 pick sixes in that game. 2. And they beat North Texas 44-34. They got absolutely shredded. I mean, they got 500 yards. They should have lost that game to 6 yards per play to 4.5 yards per play. I mean, Austin Aune just went bananas. He was, threw for 380 yards and 3 touchdowns. Unfortunately, his 2 picks were returned the other way. So, yeah, I was low on this Memphis team coming into the year. They lost their best offensive player in Calvin Austin. They lost an important tight end. Their defense was, I think, going to be shaky. And after digging in, I think this is the right time to sell Memphis and buy Houston. My only concern is Houston has quit. But we're buying the Cougs. We're riding with Dana on Friday night. Do you agree or disagree?
I mean, you would never buy a hook on a 2.5 down to a 2. But Dana Holgorsen makes you think, huh? I mean, you get a little bit nervous with his overtime strategies. But I agree that Houston is a side they should be favored. But with 2.5s across the board, you do get a little bit nervous about that. But I think the over is where I'm going to be playing. There's, like Stuckey mentioned, heavy rush stats favoring Houston. Stuff rate, line yards, it should be domination by the Cougars here on their offense. I think the problem is Brandon Campbell and Tazon Henry are not near as explosive as Clayton Tune has been on the ground. So, that is something to kind of monitor. But, when you go to the other side, why I like the over is Stuckey mentioned that there's going to be a pass rush applied by Houston and a Memphis offensive line that can't do anything about it. Even with injury, it makes it worse. Now, Seth Hennigan is 9-to-1 TD to INT ratio. But when you look at his big time throw turnover worthy play ratio, it's like 1-to-1. So it's a little bit inflation there on the TD stats. He's already got 1,200 yards in the air for Memphis. And Houston is 60th in coverage. They can be exposed, but they do have the best pass rush in the nation, graded by PFF. There's going to be plenty of busted plays here. There's going to be sacks on Memphis and passing downs. And the Tigers are 18th in explosiveness on passing downs. I think it's like an all or nothing thing from Hennigan and the Memphis offense. I mean, you're going to see like sacks so that it's like 3rd and 25, but you're also going to see like 30-yard gains against this Houston defense. It just is just out. They just lose their minds. Like they're not even paying attention sometimes in passing downs. So I think that's going to be a real problem. So I favor the over here more than back in Houston.
Yeah, I'll be on Houston. I wish I dug into this game a little deeper earlier in the week and got a better number. I'm going to wait to see the 3 pops back up. If not, maybe I'll just play money line, or maybe I want the 2.5 because overtime. Every Houston game goes to overtime. They've been in 3.